That's right, joining us to help alleviate some of the wedding planning stress by helping you create a budget for your big day is wedding and event planner Cameron Forbes. It's great to see you.
Thank you for having me, ladies, and congratulations, Marisol.
Well, thank you so much. This is, suddenly I'm sweaty all of a sudden. This is, yeah, okay. According to a recent survey, 52% of engaged couples describe wedding planning as stressful. Here, here. 59% it was overwhelming. Here, here. How can a budget help with that process? Because I'm sweating because I'm thinking about how expensive it truly is.
Yeah, but I would say a budget should definitely be your first step when wedding planning. So I would say start with what is the maximum or total amount you're willing to spend. And I think from there you can really break it down into different, allocations per vendor, per different event element.
Okay.
And so what I would say is, in New York City and in the U.S., the average cost of wedding really varies.
Right.
Yeah. But the average cost of the wedding in the U.S. is around $35,000.
What? Wait. The average cost
in the
of
US,
a wedding?
We're not talking about the Northeast. There's no way.
I was going to say, in New York City, we're talking closer to $77,000.
At the minimum.
I'm shocked that it's that expensive across the lower 48. $35,000. Is that with tip or without?
With tip.
Okay. Because you have to tip all your vendors. Okay, and what is it here? Closer to?
77,000.
Well, yeah, that's...
I can't wrap my brain around this. Okay. As we move on from that, staggering. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking of all the things I can do with that money besides pay for an event.
Right.
You said the first thing to do is nail down the budget. What are the next steps that we should do from the get-go when thinking about planning our wedding?
I would say really break it down into the different elements. So whether that's venue, catering, florals, entertainment, and figure out how much you want to allocate to all those kind of different sections.
Okay.
So I normally recommend that you allocate around 50% to the venue, catering, bartending. Those are really, the biggest pieces.
Yes.
And then I would say, other kind of percentages vary, but I would say probably around, 10 to 15% for florals, 10% for photo and video, 5% for attire, and around 10% for entertainment, stationery, things like that.
Huh. Okay.
Oof, okay. Well, that tracks. What you have not put in there is the honeymoon. That's a separate budget.
Separate budget entirely.
That's a whole separate budget. Okay, so you
man.
say we should set priorities.
Yes.
When it comes to spending said money, how do we come to what those priorities are? Because I would think they're different for different people.
Everybody, yeah.
Because some people, they want great pictures and a video,
and they want a live band.
That's right, and then this and then that. To which you say?
Yeah, and I would say, I've seen that with my brides. There are some people who want 20% of the budget on florals, 20% on a live band, whatever it is. So I would say, in your case, Marisol, thinking about what you and your fiance would like to prioritize. If you're a foodie, prioritizing catering, bartending. If you're someone who is really into decor and design, maybe putting a little bit more money that way. So I think it's really about kind of you and your partner deciding what is the most important aspect to you on that day.
Quick question. So this is my second wedding. It is his first wedding. We're both older. We're both paying for this. How do you decide what the split is? Because we have not meshed our money yet. Our money, my money is my money, and his money is his money for now. So,
and sometimes it's yours.
Just kidding. How do you even get to that conversation? Because now it's not your parents' money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a really candid conversation, and I think, with a lot of couples I've worked with who are on maybe their second marriage, it tends to be kind of more of a 50-50 split of those costs.
Yeah.
Versus, a lot of younger brides, it's mom and dad are paying for it, the mother of the bride.
Right.
Okay.
Preparing for that conversation.
Lander's going to be in for a treat when he gets when you get home tonight. Now, you also said have a contingency fund.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
So a contingency fund, I normally recommend my brides kind of allocate 5 to 10% for those hidden costs or unexpected expenses. And that can really be anything from as you were talking about, the gratuity, different tips for vendors. People might not expect that they need to tip all these different kind of staff members.
Yeah.
Could also be alterations to your wedding dress, last minute changes, bridal accessories. So many things can come up in those kind of final weeks to your big day that may incur extra costs. So I always recommend, having a little bit of that set aside so you are not breaking the bank, you're going over budget.
The emergency fund.
Just set it aside in case.
JIC.
Prepare for the worst, expect the best,
Yeah,
hope for the best.
Exactly. Hopefully you don't have to use it, and then you can devote some of that to the honeymoon.
Oh, look at that.
I love
So
this.
you're honey fun.
Thank you. What are some cost-saving tips for a small budget wedding?
This is good.
I would say definitely shrink the guest list. So think about, who you really want to have there. Do maybe a smaller guest list. I would say under 100, under 75 is definitely a great way.
That feels nice.
I would also say select a shoulder season. And what a shoulder season is are those less popular seasons. So
Like February.
yes.
Nobody gets married in February.
April through October, is the most popular seasons for weddings. So it's pretty much, spring, summer, early fall.
So
The
January,
season we're in
February,
right now.
March.
But December, November, January, February, March, you can see cost savings in the thousands just because there is such a lack of demand compared to the summer and spring months.
Wow, I'm so glad I watched this show. 'Cause
I know.
I just learned something.
Listen, and we're just getting started here on Bridal
Holy
Week.
smokes.
Any last final parting words, tips, wisdom?
Yeah, I would say as well, weekdays are another great option to save money.
I feel like a lot of
doing
people
it
are moving that way
Yeah,
now.
and I've seen a lot of brides do, Mondays, Sundays, kind of non-traditional days, just because venue fees are way down. And I would also say, in 2024, especially working with a lot of Gen Z brides, thinking about digitizing things. So maybe not having the full stationery suite with the 10 different
These
pieces of
invitations
paper.
are getting out of control.
They are getting out of
people.
hand.
The amount of stamps that I'm not going to call anyone out. The last wedding invitation I received for a wedding next month, it was 2 rows of stamps. That's how heavy this thing was. I can't even hang it on my fridge. It's going in the trash. It's going in the trash.
And you're just wasting money
here.
on, all the design, the printing, the postage, the envelopes, everything.
Save a tree. Send an Evite. Cameron, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Stay close, please.
If you want Cameron's help, you can contact Cameron at ForbesFunctions.com.
Fantastic.
Thank you, ladies.
I love it.